All right, hi, yeah, I'm Gillan, and this is a pretty cool story on how God's worked in my life. Um, about 2 years ago, I made some life-altering choices that would pretty much alter the entire course of my life, and one of the things being is that I probably wouldn't be able to get married for quite a while. But the plan was to leave my sort of mediocre job at the time and study further and get more qualified and, rejoin the workforce, and that would sort things out. And I sold my car and funded my studies, and I studied full-time for probably about a year and a bit. And I got to about last year, June, and my funding was running pretty low, and I figured, now's a good time. I need to start looking for work again. And I've got, newfound qualifications and whatnot. This should be a breeze. And I was applying for about 3 months, and not a lot happened. And I had this whole entourage of people praying for me, but still no joy, and sort of it carried on and on and on until it was about 6 months in, and still no real joy in finding any work, and couldn't really figure out why this wasn't working out too well. And sort of had really good work experience and worked on the qualification side of things, and surely God had honored me in this, and it wouldn't be a big deal. And sort of by December, I really hadn't had too many interviews. Nothing was happening, and my financial situation was getting a little bit worse. And come January, I was definitely not going to be able to pay my bills, and it was getting pretty hectic. And I remember just feeling super nauseous all the time, like I couldn't deal. And I got an interview with this company, and they were right around the corner from my house, and everything just checked out. It was going to be amazing. This is it. This is surely my blessing. And I went for one interview. Great. Can you come back tomorrow? Can you meet our directors? Great. Came back the next day, third day. The following week, another interview with them. I went through 4 rounds of interviews with these people, and just to get ghosted in the end. It was a pretty heavy time, and I started to really slip into depression and just wonder, what gives? Why can't I get this blessing to pop for me? I've got all these people praying, and nothing's happening. And January came around, and I couldn't really make ends meet anymore. The situation was getting pretty dire. And I got a call from this person who found my CV through somebody I've never even met, never spoke to. I have no idea how they came into contact with my CV, but they had this role for me, and they were certain that I'm going to be the guy for this role. But when I found out what it paid, wasn't good enough to actually even physically travel there and do. I wouldn't be able to cover my bills and go do this job. It just didn't check out. So I respectfully declined. It was very difficult at the time because I was super desperate. And I figured, that ship had sailed. I'll never hear from that person again. But about 4 weeks later, I got a call from them, and they had a temp assignment. They'd bought over a company. They needed somebody to come in and sort some things out. And what was weird about this is that they offered me a daily rate that was more than sort of what the average person would make in a month. It was ridiculous. It didn't work out. It didn't equate. I didn't understand. I was certain it was a typo. But I went along, did the interview. They wanted me to start straight away, and they confirmed that, look, this is what we'll pay you, And I just remember thinking, this is pretty strange. This is ridiculous. And anyway, I completed the job, and they paid me. And while I was working there, we got our first coronavirus case in South Africa, and that really put a damper on things. And soon after I got paid, we went into lockdown. We went into a hard lockdown, and people were stressed, and people stressed hardcore about money, and how's everyone going to make ends meet? And it was weird because for the first time I was actually calm. I'd made enough money to actually carry me all the way through to January, through to June, which is just ridiculous. Considering everyone else is in pretty dire straits at the time. And my girlfriend at the time, she told me, like, this is clearly God's providing for you. There's no other way. You're desperate. You've got enough money now to make it through like half the year. You're good. And I didn't think much of it at the time. And July rolls around, and I'm out of funds again. I can't cover any of my bills. I really can't make ends meet. And started like really questioning God, like, what's the deal? Why can't I find anything solid? And it's like a Tuesday morning, and I'm just feeling ridiculous. And months before, during lockdown, my girlfriend and I, we built this budget. Like, there's nothing to do during lockdown, so we came up with this, for us to get married and live together, what would we need? And not just like, what would we need to just make ends meet, but what would we need to live a good life together? And so anyway, it's like this Tuesday morning in July, and I'm just feeling like death warmed up. And I'm lying in bed, and I started praying, and I sort of mid-prayer, I started really having it out with God. Like, what's your deal? Why won't you bless me with anything? Why? Just had all these questions, and I was just really letting him have it. And like mid-prayer, my phone gets this notification, and because I'm an amazing Christian, I stop praying and look at my phone. And it's people I work for in February. We've got a permanent job for you. Are you interested? And the very, very next line is like, we'll offer you X. And the gross package that they were offering is the same number that my girlfriend and I had built on our budget to get married. And it was just ridiculous. And they were like, complete probation with us, and after your probationary period, we'll review all of that. And it's just ridiculous. I went from being ridiculously desperate and fighting with God to pretty much getting what I want. And at the end of the day, it wasn't even just like, here's a job. What I studied required a very particular set of skills, so that I would have to report under a specific person and spend about 2 years working under a very particular stakeholder in a company to actually get fully qualified. And this job is like exactly that. Like, it cannot get any better. And it's just like a testament of how God really worked in my life.